This is going to be a quick video on what we're trying to do with Virtual Worlds Music. It's a project that a few of us are working on together to hopefully promote and ease the use of musicians and fans trying to use virtual worlds such as Sansar Second Life, VR Chat, and so on, in performing live music and watching live music over the internet. So this has a lot of information in it, but I'm going to try to just gloss over it and summarize this to give you a feel for what we're trying to do. So we have an outline for establishing this virtual world music. Basically what we're going to do is what you'd normally do in a project like this. We have a number of planning steps we have to go through to get ourselves set up, get the team on the same page, and then we're going to go execute this. And the execution will be basically in the form of a website and social media outlets for Virtual Worlds Music, such as using Facebook and Twitch and Twitter and so on, all trying to reach our objectives that we've set up for ourselves based on our vision. What our vision is this. Our vision is to, the first one's a mouthful, but it's to provide a platform-agnostic guide for music performances, education, and collaboration across disparate virtual world platforms. What that means is we want to have a focus of music. That'll be our focus is performing music online over the internet and performing them into a virtual world. So the focus is going to be on the music, the musicians, and the fans, the educators, and the students in terms of music education, not on a given virtual world. So for example, right now all the virtual worlds, for the right reasons, they focus on their virtual world, and you don't see something that tries to focus across a lot of them. You know, the thought process is everybody wants to use Second Life, or everybody wants to use VR Chat or CineSpace, or name the virtual world application. And so the focus is along that, and music's kind of a sidelight. There might be music in it, but there's also fashion shows, there's lots of games, there's also lots of stuff going on. It's focused around the virtual world itself. Our focus is going to be music performed in various virtual worlds. So the focus is on the music, not on the virtual world itself. The second vision is that we want to develop this by creating a community of musicians, promoters, DJs, music educators that happen to be using virtual worlds as one of their distribution channels. And by getting their input and help, we hope that we can share our ideas and maybe shape the future of immersive music online in these virtual world platforms. Thirdly, a few of us in the team are software developers. We find one of the barriers right now is because the virtual worlds are disparate and the various other ways that you can listen to music online is in separate platforms are all siloed, and we're trying to look at ways to develop tools to make that easier for a given musician, a fan, or an educator to deliver their content or their performance across more than one virtual world or social media outlet. The whole idea is you should be able to record it or stream it one time, and it can be delivered to a number of different places at the same time without having to go through the pain of having to set them all up yourself and all the technical hoops you have to jump through in order to get there. Try to make it easier. That's probably our whole mantra, is try to make it easier. If we had a tagline, that's what it would be. So why are we doing it? Well, we made some assumptions. Basically, this says the assumption is that it will grow, and with COVID-19 pandemic, it is growing. That's a bad reason for it to grow, but it was growing anyway, but very slowly. Now it's growing very quickly. And we expect, because of the current situation in society, that it will grow faster, and people are going to want to try more things. And we also hope that technology will continue to improve. That's a kind of a given, but we've seen it, and a lot of the problems we've had is because we're early in the adoption phase and the technology is not quite there, but it will get there. So we're trying to set ourselves up in a position to take advantage of that as the technology improves. And we really hope that musicians and potential fans will collaborate using virtual worlds, and we really want to encourage that. And in order to do that, we want to encourage it across all the platforms. Try to get away from the siloed approach. That's one of the problems we have today. Because people are so tied to their platforms, because they're so hard to use, they tend not to want to visit across platforms. They become situated in their own little silo, and we hope to find ways to help break that by having a music-centric focus versus a platform focus with this project. We'll be researching the existing space of virtual worlds, and by space I mean what's going on in these virtual worlds, how is music being performed, who's doing it, how often are they doing it, are they successful, and so on. We'll be doing that by looking at these virtual worlds, performing in these virtual worlds, developing a directory and how to in all these worlds through our website. We took a broader look at it to start with. And the reason we did this is because I think if you dive directly into the virtual world approach to things, it's easy to get siloed, and you lose sight of the bigger picture. The big picture for us isn't the virtual world, quite honestly. It's the musician and the fan, the student, the teacher. How can they collaborate? How can they get a better experience using technology? So because of that, we've looked at the delivery of an event. And we categorize them into 3 different ways that live music gets done today online. First is the general purpose live streaming software, and that's sharing video and audio over the web live, and it uses the traditional growth in social media platforms, so they're tied to a given social media platform, and we'll talk about that in a minute here. Then there's a live concert specific software. This is software that says, hey, rather than tying it to a person, because basically the general purpose live streaming is tied to a person's Facebook account or a person's YouTube account, and you're listening to that person. The live concert specific applications say, hey, let's get all the musicians we can together in one place, so a person can come to this site and see who's performing live today or this week, and when can I tune into their broadcast. It'll use the same type of streaming, though, basically streaming a video from their home studio or bedroom or living room or their backyard, coming into your desktop or your phone or your tablet, and you'll watch them play live. And the point being, is a live concert specific, it's geared specifically to musicians and fans. You know, the general purpose live streaming, you see everything being live streamed, and it's tied to whatever that person's interested in. So if it's a musician, it may be they're performing their music, but if it's a person that likes to put on makeup or play games, that's what you'll be seeing in their live streaming. So it aggregates music to live concert specific applications. 3D immersion is the next step, but I say MMORPG software, so basically online games, multiplayer games. I know virtual worlds don't like to think of themselves as games, but from a everyday musician or an everyday fan, that's what they are. they're very specific in the fact that you're not playing a game for a goal. You're going there to listen to somebody, but your interaction with it is much like you'd interact with a game such as Fortnite. In fact, you see Fortnite used as a music delivery vehicle occasionally. So, what do we want to do here? The thing we're going to be doing is we're going to catalog each of the virtual worlds, how many events they had. We talked about it before, how is easy to use, how is easy to use from a performance perspective, from a participant, a fan or student perspective. How do you make money or do you not make money using that platform? The technical and usability aspects of the platform. What does it support in terms of broadcasting? How does it work? Can you sell merchandise? What can you do inside of that platform that's different than the other platforms? What kind of fan experience is there? And then what kind of things are missing in each one of them, and what we'd like to see done on those platforms to make it easier to use. A real quick review of these. I don't want to go into this into a whole lot of detail. General purpose streaming applications, again, we talked about them. There's examples. Again, it works by a person's streaming from their phone or their computer, creating a stream. The stream goes to the social media site for distribution. So basically, the software records it and then connects to the social media application, streams it to the social media application, and then people log into that social media application to watch it. From a musician's perspective, is they've got to set it all up themselves. Usually pretty easy to do. A lot of videos out there. They have to establish some kind of piece of software on their PC to stream it, usually OBS or Streamlab. From the fan's perspective, you watch somebody play music like you'd watch a YouTube video. And you can usually interact with maybe other fans to an extent. Usually there's not a real chat application, but you comment on it live. So it's like everybody watching a YouTube video and watching the comments change. It's real time. Musicians don't get paid directly normally. There's not usually ticketing or tip jars. What happens, though, is musicians normally put some link on their YouTube or Facebook Live stream that they've got, which is a post, just a normal post, and saying, hey, you can go to PayPal, you can go to Patreon, or some other way of paying me for this. The live concert-specific application approach. A couple of them there, Stage It and Street Jelly, are the two that are most active right now. There used to be Concert TV, but they folded last year, which I'm sure they regret now in the current society where we're all staying at home. But again, it's focused on music, focused on trying to present multiple musicians. So it's sort of like a web-based club with multiple stages that a fan can go listen to a number of different people. And like a club, they usually make their money with cover charges or tickets you buy. The tickets you buy normally are not done with a credit card, but what they're done is you get into that application and you establish tokens, basically, of some type. And they all call them something different, sort of like you do when you get into a virtual world like Second Life, when you have your own currency. But this is a currency inside of that application, and you go ahead and you can spend that money on tickets to go watch different people play. The performances tend to be short, 30 minutes, up to 50 minutes. I think you have a 20-minute encore, so it's normally a 30-minute concert, so they're quick. Here's this performer. They were built kind of as at the time, figuring that people would be playing live, and this was a great way of sharing little insights into, I'm almost playing live, but you come see me at my show if you really want to see me. Well, that's changed, so we may say the way they stream changing as well in the future, since you watch the whole show now. Fan experience is pretty much the same as the live concerts, except they normally have a more robust chat application, not just a way to go ahead and put comments. And they also have ways where You can often tip them. They almost all have tip jars in addition to buying tickets. Immersive, we know that pretty well already. I mean, this is you get into one of these applications, which I listed a few there, and the performer will get in, and they don't get into the application. What they have to do is basically all these virtual worlds have multiple places you can go visit. They call them different things: experiences, worlds, scenes, whatever, rooms. But basically, those things are created by 3D modelers or 3D creators that create something that looks like a club or a venue of some type, a concert hall, and so what has to happen is a performer can, if he's got those skills, he can create his own. But normally, there's a number of them already created because lots of 3D modelers like to create things like clubs, so they'll set up a club. And so in any one of them, you'll find dozens of opportunities, and they run that club. And so a performer somehow has to go into that, get an account. They normally have to unload or have to load client software. They're using client server applications, or not web applications. So they get in there, load it, establish an avatar, and then they go in there and try to find a club owner. The club owner, they get them coordinate a time you can come play, and the person will come in there and play. And what they do is they stream it the same way they stream the other applications normally. So the streaming part's the same, but then they have an avatar. Their avatar walks up onto the stage and runs some animations. It looks like they're playing guitar or piano or something. So that's how it works today. And usually the performers earn money with tip jars. Fans come and visit that application real time, do much the same thing, have to download the client software. They have a more immersive experience because they're in like a game, so they can take their little characters and they dress them, they can dance with other characters, they can interact, they can talk to other characters during the concert, they can they animate the characters dancing and so on. So it's a more immersive thing. Also, the club owners, if they're talented and set this up in their world, they usually have a lot of eye candy going on in terms of spotlights and laser shows and fog and fireworks and smoke, and so it's kind of an immersive experience. It's certainly more interesting than watching a person playing from their bedroom on a guitar with the applications for either the live concert or the streaming on a social media app. There's more interaction. We have a number of people that we're interested in having in our community: the musicians, the fans, promoters, educators. Also, a couple other ones that are the companies themselves, the virtual world platform companies. We would like to work with them in trying to make it easier to get musicians and fans into their application for music experiences. And also, one of the other ones we've seen an opportunity is most musicians, as they progress and play original music, they try to sell their music, obviously, and through things like Spotify and iTunes, but they don't really go to those sites. What you do is you normally go through a distribution channel like DistroKid or TuneCore, and we'd like to work with those companies and see if they have any interest in making another distribution channel besides things like Spotify or iTunes in using virtual worlds as a distribution channel. We need to get everybody involved. We think there's a big community out there, potentially, of people that are interested, but we tend to be very, very siloed. And so our hope is to be able to get this community set up so it's less siloed and people talk to each other and ideas flow back and forth. We expect what we're building here to be more of a musician-centric, fan-centric, one-stop place, website, to go be able to explore virtual worlds and how you use them in performing or teaching music. How we're going to deliver that is via a community website and a number of other places. Well, community website, what we're kind of talking about here, basic, is what you'd expect. You'd have a calendar of all the listings that we can find in all the virtual worlds, people playing. This is the home page, and the home page you'll see, we hope to restream their performances as much as we can by working with club owners and the musicians themselves. And we'll have, at least if anything is live playing, we'd like to show it on the home page, and then there will also be a page just with the different events playing, so you can go tune into them, whether you tune into them via a restream or actually launch the application and go to them. And the blog, we'll have a blog, of course, that'll describe how well we're doing or not doing with our fulfilling our mission. So basically, it's what you'd expect. It's really a clearing site for who's playing what and what kind of music, and where are they playing it, in what virtual world. Also have a wiki and a how to perform in these different places, and a link to the tools we hope to build to make it easier to perform one time and deliver it to a number of different places where people can pick it up and listen to it. Basically, as we said before, you stream once from your desktop, and it goes to the social media sites, and it also goes to more than one virtual world. So that means we'll have the website, we'll have all the social media presences set up, we'll have venues in each major virtual world, we'll have virtual world music sites for different performances, and we'll use those, but we hope to leverage other creators in those virtual worlds and play at their clubs. We would like to promote a lot of club hopping when we're doing virtual world performances. We'd like to also plan on having weekly sponsored shows, and by that we're talking about actual virtual world music. We'll have a stream that'll do weekly, and we'll go to the number of different virtual worlds. We'll deliver it to them in a stream and a show. Well, where are we? Well, we've got our initial team of talented people, and we've begun planning. And we've set up a bunch of virtual tools to do that. We're in the midst of creating the website and setting up the virtual worlds. And then our next steps, well, once they'll get set up in the next few weeks, we get to the point we'll actually begin testing and some of our new integration tools that we plan to make it easier. And we'll roll out the website and hope you'll all work with us to make this a success.